This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Right now on 1480 KRAE, it's time for the Pro Show, featuring the only father and son sports talk show talking about the local sports scene as we take a look back and look ahead to upcoming events around our area. The Pro Show is on now, right here on 1480 KRAE. And good morning. Welcome. Good morning. And good morning. Welcome to the Pro Show. Larry Proietti along with Nick Proietti, and we welcome you once again to our program. It is a Tuesday morning, and it's hard to believe as we are still in the month of September. We're just about at the halfway point of the high school football season, and we get a chance to talk high school football with Cheyenne Central Indians head coach Mike Apodaca. Indians back to the Mendoza line at 2-2. Big victory. Big road victory this past Friday at Thunder Basin against the Bolts. So, Mike, congratulations on that win and a good bounce-back win for your team, especially after that tough loss at home against the Casper Natrona Mustangs.
Yeah, a lot of excitement in terms of just all those things you just said. You know, we've had a couple of tough losses against two good teams, and going on the road to a tough place to play. We had all the reasons not to fight through that, and the kids did, and super proud of their effort.
You know, Mike, you look at your team right now, and again, I've used that word many times, battle-tested. And again, you look at of your four games, and Kelly Walsh is no pushover as well. But Natrona, Sheridan, Thunder Basin, these are three teams that have been near the top over the last 4 years. Is Thunder down a little bit? I don't know. They still got an explosive offense under Trent Pakula. But, again, your team has come out and through the first 4 weeks and has really taken some good punches and has thrown some good punches back.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the difference was in this game. You know, I really felt like our kids had done a great job hanging in the first half, and I thought we've generally come out of the second half really good. I think, you know, we seemed like we're on the defense side of the ball always, and we get a stop and score, and that was kind of the same thing. It's really been our fourth quarter is just kind of taking that next step and putting ourselves out there and finishing, and that's what I thought was the difference in that game. You know, I mean, honestly, I think all three of those teams we played, and I would throw Thunder in there, is all real similar. I think they've all got some dynamic people, you know, solid, you know, defenses. So I think all four teams that, you know, the three that we played in that top end, and then ourselves, I think there's a lot of similarities, and we were just finally able to get over the hump.
Coach, as we are approaching week 5, or at least week 4 in the classification, but again, game 5 for Cheyenne Central, plenty of football still left, again, for Cheyenne Central to kind of jockey for position on playoffs, again, to at least hopefully get a first round, at least home contest there at Risky Field. But, you know, here we are again as we prepare for the Laramie Plainsmen on the road coming up this Friday night for Cheyenne Central. Coach, what are still things that we're improving upon for the Indians that, again, hopefully will get shored up as we get into, you know, quarterfinal time or at least playoff time here in 2022?
Well, we've talked to the kids a lot this week about we're either going to get better or we're going to get worse this week, and it's really important after a tough grind there and an emotional win that we stay moving forward and not take a step backward. So I think that's the number one thing we're looking for, and I think we did a better job in taking care of the ball the entire game last week, and also penalties. Those were down. And I think those two things in general really helped our offense. And the other thing that we really put an emphasis on last week and need to moving forward is creating explosive offensive plays. I felt like we were a little stagnant on that, and part of it was we were probably, trying to control the ball a little bit more, but at some point we've got explosive players, and we had to let them run and had a big 84, 85-yard pass from Keegan to Jackson Whitworth that I think really set the tone for those guys that we were here for the whole game. And so we've got to continue that as well.
Coach, as I mentioned again, Laramie Plainsman coming up again on the road there in Laramie. This Plainsman team we saw this past Friday night again, at least take their lumps against Cheyenne East. Give credit to the Thunderbirds again. That was a contest again in favor of Cheyenne East, 63-7. But for the Central High Indians, for you, Coach, how do you keep your athletes focused up, or essentially to avoid what could be a potential trap game for a Laramie team that has nothing to lose? Per se, how do you keep your athletes focused to not overlook the Laramie Plainsmen?
Well, I don't think there's anything for us to look forward to. We've won as many games right now as we won last year, and not a single one more. Is that I'm not sure we're in that dynamic where we can overlook anybody. We've been competitive against good teams and that sort of thing. But other than that, we just got to figure out how to get better. I think they show well on film, and they've got behind a little bit, but you see some good athletes, and I just don't think we're not that team that all year that can afford to do something like that. We've got to really stay focused each week and get better.
Coach Ronga last week broke out the gadget play against Cheyenne East, and the thing we saw with Malone, the kid's not afraid to chuck the rock. So obviously your backers, your secondary is going to be plenty busy this weekend.
Yeah, no, it's one of the things we focused the most on film yesterday is I remember the kid last year, I think he was a sophomore last year, and you just saw something. You saw a toughness, a grittiness. The stage wasn't too big, and they were struggling, record-wise, and then maybe even in the game. But the kid never stopped punching, to be honest with you. I was very impressed with how he handled himself, and so kind of told our kids that that he's a kid that if you let him loose, he can change a game real fast. So we're well aware of him and are going to need to contain him.
Kind of a 180 from the time that you played, or you used to remember Laramie, where it was a full house and it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Now the backfield is kind of it's not all that special, but this is a team that has gone a 180 where the pass is more prevalent than the run.
Yeah, and I think you're just starting to see that around we talked about it as coaches, that you just kind of start seeing the evolution of the game at all levels. And I think it probably involves more kids generally and some of those sorts of things that, yeah, you really do see it. But, I think the thing that it comes down to is your ability to run the football. And I know that, over the course of 4 or 5 years, we've continued to try to improve that because obviously late in the year when weather starts kicking in and it becomes a physical game, you've got to be able to run the ball. And so we're trying on our end to make sure that's a piece of our puzzle as well.
I want to spotlight Chase Talich, and again talk about lineage with the Talich family and following in the footsteps of his brother Nathaniel. But here's a gentleman that plays on both sides of the football. When you need him on the offensive side, somehow, some way, he always finds that seam for you. Let's talk about this young man again. And you've been blessed at that position, the tight end spot with the Storbos, and again now with a Chase Talich stepping in. But this just adds another weapon to the offense.
Yeah, it really does. And, early on, last year Chase was a sophomore, and we didn't want to overload his plate. And so we really kept him on the defensive side of the ball. And this year, early on, to be quite honest with you, there was still a bit of focus on that. I mean, I know we projected him out at that position as well, but wanted to just kind of bring him around to it. And that, going back to the explosive play type of thing, a couple of weeks ago, we made a concerted effort to get him involved in the offensive game plan more because he is just such a big target, a great athlete, has a sense of space too, and in that position, it's super important. And really, over the last 3 weeks, he's been sensational in finding some opportunities there. And you know what? We don't go into the game plan saying we got to get him X amount of touches or any of our receivers, but there's definitely things we draw up to make sure that over the course of the game we give him a couple opportunities, and he's really taken advantage of those.
Let's talk about the evolution. We mentioned at least with Chase Talich, but again, the guy that's trying to get him the football and again had at least the career start last year. Again, let's start with the guy who's leading the offense, Keegan Bartlett. What have you noticed from 2021's version of Keegan Bartlett to here 2022 and his evolution, at least leading the helm for Cheyenne Central?
Everything has slowed down for Keegan. That's what you absolutely see. And now his true ability is coming out. I think last year we probably, all leaned and recognized that he's a big, strong kid, and running was going to be that. And he had, I think he probably reverted to that a lot because it was his comfort zone sort of thing. Whereas this year, I think, his passing game has just increased tenfold. One of the things that we really focused on this year is if we're going to throw the ball, we got to do it at an efficient rate. And, right now he's doing that in spades, honestly. I think he's, really throwing the ball in completion percentage and taking care of the ball. I think he's as good as anybody in the state sort of thing. And especially, we're not trying to throw the ball 25 and 30 times a game. And honestly, if we are, it's probably not going the way we want it to. With the group of kids we have, I think we can control the ball a little bit running it. So, he's staying right in that 15 to 20 generally and at a high completion percentage and taking care of the ball. And I think, Thunder was probably, I thought, his best game overall since he's been here on both, running and passing. Him and Jackson, again, connected on a ball that, you're kind of in space, that post ball, you kind of feel it. I wouldn't say it was wide open, but, a hair forward or a hair back, and the result doesn't probably look the same. And he, just was really calm in the pocket, stepped up into it, and put a dime on Jackson. I know that's going to help his confidence. So I really like his evolution as a multi-threat quarterback.
Coach, my final thought, again, we appreciate you joining us today and giving at least recapping Friday night's victory over Thunder Bay. Again, a huge at least win on the road in Gillette against a very talented Bolts team. Again, Central will be on the road this Friday night, taking on the Laramie Plainsmen. Our next contest, seeing the Indians, will be at least previous Friday, or at least the Friday after that, as they will be back at home at Risky Field taking on Cheyenne South of Fighting Bison. But, Coach, here we are, midway point of this season in Class 4A. What's kind of stood out to you so far, whether it is the competitiveness here in Class 4A? I'll mention, again, Campbell County, where they kind of shocked a few teams so far. What's kind of been the surprise and thing that's kind of raised your eyebrow that we've seen so far here early part of this season?
I think just what you talked about, right now it really does. I mean, you never know how those teams that are still looking for their first win are going to finish out. But right now, 7 teams have found ways to, kind of beat a couple people here and there. That I think we thought that. I would be my biggest surprise is a lot of kids have stepped up in a lot of teams. Like there was a lot of young kids that I'm not sure a lot of people knew about, including, even kids on our team that have really just kind of come out of the woodworks. And when you watch on film, there's just a lot of really good athletes out there. And it kind of shows in some of the scores and the stat lines being put up that, any given week, you've got to have your best kind of showing up because somebody else is going to bring theirs. And I'm not just talking that coach will say, I'm talking, player-wise. There's just some real dynamic players out there.
Mike Apodaca, head coach of the Cheyenne Central Indians. Coach, as I let you go, and again, you go back to summer camp and the expectations you had for this team, and you knew on paper that this was going to be a good ball club as it developed throughout the course of the season. Things that you are looking for, I know you mentioned penalties, you like to get the run game going, but things that you need for the Indians to do so when we come down to, that final weekend and we hopefully address the playoff season, tell us a little more what you're expecting out of your team over the next few weeks.
I think number one is their belief in themselves. I think that's the thing that when I say struggling with, we're not necessarily, it's not a day-to-day struggle. It just, to take that next step, you really got to believe that you're, kind of a next-level upper echelon team. And that's really important for them, that they're not going in games and hoping to win. I think they realize the talent they have and some of that kind of stuff. But just kind of, having a little bit of a chip on your shoulder and that sort of thing is the thing that we're probably looking forward the most. And I think that win last week can kind of spark that a little bit. So I think on the mental side, probably that. And, physically, I think we can continue to run the ball better. I think we're doing a good job, but I do think that we've got a chance to be really good at that. And I think a lot of that has to do with just kind of the next level of blocking. Our linemen, taking that next level block, our receivers taking that next level block and breaking off that 15, 20, 25 yard run, I think, offensively. And then defensively, honestly, it's a weird microcosm. I'm not really even sure I can pinpoint it. When you look at kind of the yards we've given up in the run, and yet the scores we're giving up, they don't really add up, sort of thing. But I do think we got to shore that up, our run defense, in terms of just getting the ball back to the offense. I think more than anything, I think what you're seeing is teams holding on to the ball and moving the chains a little bit more than I would like. So I think that's where we do. And honestly, our special teams is continuing to build on that portion of it. We're able to return a touchdown for the first time since I've been here in special teams, and we've blocked a kick. So I think our special teams are really emerging, and that's promising moving forward.
Well, we always think of the Capital Bowl as the rivalry here in Cheyenne, but as well as I do as a former player and a coach, this is a big rivalry game over in Laramie, and like Nick said, hopefully it's not an ambush over at D-Ty Stadium, because again, you just never know. The Plainsmen just have nothing to lose this Friday night.
You're absolutely right. We're looking forward to the matchup and getting back on the field, so we look forward to the opportunity.
All righty, Coach, all the best to you, and we'll catch up with you here in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Head coach Mike Apodaca, Cheyenne Central Indians, 2-2 on the season. And again, the victories against Casper Kelly Walsh and the Thunder Basin Bolts lost by 3 to the Sheridan Bronx. And again,
that was on the road, and again, losing
at Risky.
At Risky against Natrona County, which again, I do believe that was about a 7 point loss. Either way, it was close. So again, the losses that Cheyenne Central's had, again, has been by just about around a touchdown or so. So, and again, it's against good quality opponents, again, Natrona and Sheridan, but again, picking up a big road victory this past Friday night against the Thunder Basin Bolts, where we'll get into it before our next guest, again, at 11:30 here today. But let's get into, again, what we saw in Class 4A. We'll very quickly go into our contest, which, again, there's not much to speak upon. Again, we know Cheyenne East is very talented, very good. Laramie is growing, at least going through some, growing pains at this point in time, but
I'll cover you. But the thing too with Cheyenne East, what I really enjoyed, and again, we've had Central and we've had South. We'll talk about the number one team in the state right now, and deservedly so.
Yeah,
they did this without Drew Jackson. Imagine if Drew Jackson was on the field for Cheyenne East. He's another one of those superstars. Offensively, it's a very unselfish ball club. Cam Hayes distributes the football everywhere to the receivers and to his running back, and again, once in a while he'll take it himself.
I mean, they're the best offense in Class 4A. There's no doubt about it.
Amazing. It's a machine.
It's definitely a machine. And again, you got to have a staunch defense to slow this team down. Again, who will be that team? Again, it's to be determined. Again, this is. With the Eastside Thunderbirds, this is a team that I feel confident, or if I was a betting man, that I'd put money down that they could go unbeaten in the regular season. Like I said, at least during the broadcast, I think this is a team that is, in my mind, punched their ticket to that state title game in Laramie coming up in November. I think they are just that talented. The only thing that was suspect, and again, we saw it early on, but again, it got better throughout the game, is the defensive side of the ball for Cheyenne East that has some kind of chinks in the armor that Laramie exposed a little bit. And again, Laramie, where we saw, as you mentioned with Ben Malone, he exposed that secondary a couple times where there was nothing but green turf in front of some would-be at least wideouts for the Plainsmen that, again, were a few yards short of that ball being at least received from Ben Malone. But outside of that, again, if I'm Central, again, they will see East coming up. If I'm Cheyenne South, I'm some of the, again, the rest of the remaining teams on that schedule for Cheyenne East, again, Rock Springs as well. I look to that early, at least, game film to see how, and again, it wasn't a single head, at least a 1 or 2 play. It seemed like a couple times Laramie had some bombs that East kind of fell asleep in the secondary that, again, there was potential of a few extra scores on that board in favor of the Plainsmen.
Well, but also, too, where you're saying chinks in the armor, you got to get it early because East shores it up after halftime.
Yeah.
And that secondary became stingy.
And I think the benefit for Cheyenne East right now is, again, that offense is so potent, so fast as well, too. And, again, let's just talk about the speed. Where, again, how many times did we see, even on a short field, but, again, we're scoring under a minute, a minute time, at least game time to get down that field for Cheyenne East. And again, albeit against Laramie, Laramie is down this season clearly. Again, it's still impressive what Cheyenne East was able to do. And I think that's the benefit. If the defense is going to struggle for Cheyenne East, which, again, it does early on, but does shore itself up throughout that game, again, that offense is so quick strike that, again, if you're able to, again, at least get early against that defense, it seems like you're still in about a 14, 21-point hole.
Well, think about this with East. They scored 8 out of 9 times with the first team on the field. That's only through about the early part of the third quarter. If there wasn't a fumble down on the Laramie 7-yard line, not to say they're going to put 70 points on the board, but this offense, like you said, is so quick strike. Again, through the air, on the ground, and again too, I think what we're not focusing on. Again, we can say the likes of Schlabs and Cassis, and Nathan Merritt, you can throw those names out there, but the thing is that offensive line gives Hayes plenty of time to throw. They also roll him out of the pocket, and I think he's a good thrower on the run, and that's what we're not giving Cam Hayes a lot of credit, because again, when you're rolling, you're throwing. And again, he is hitting his receivers, but again, I think that offensive line is one of the tops right now in this conference.
But again, Cheyenne East on the road against a Rock Springs team that is, again, just an enigma to figure out what the Tigers are made of. Again, they'll give East a fight, but I think East should win pretty comfortably against the Tigers. I think just Cheyenne East is that good of a team, and I think they've proven it so far. And again, they kind of put a statement victory against Laramie again in a big way, 63-7 this past Friday night. Let's move over very quickly. Again, we talked Cheyenne Central getting at least the road victory against Thunder Basin. Again, very impressive. They stand at 2-2 right now. Again, their only losses against Natrona and on the road at Sheridan. Again, they will be on the road against the Laramie Plainsmen coming up this Friday night. Cheyenne South in what I thought was going to be more of a competitive game. Granted, Campbell County is proving that, as I kind of, again, I feel stupid right now to kind of question myself where I was kind of preseason saying, hey, Campbell County, keep an eye out on this Camels team. Well, they're proving me right of my preseason thoughts that, again, this Camels team is kind of that dark horse to keep an eye out, where, again, they are rolling off few straight victories. Again, their only losses against a very talented Cheyenne East team. They took care of business pretty handily in town against Cheyenne South. Albeit, again, give credit to Cheyenne South. Again, that was still not a running clock situation. Again, it was 51-10. So, again, it was close to it, but, again, still not that running clock. So, again, improvement to where Cheyenne South has been in years past. I thought it would be more of a competitive contest, but, again, give credit to the Campbell County Camels. They are out to prove that they are, again, they're kind of back, so to speak, of where they were in years past.
No, they're middle of the pack, Nick. They're
3-1.
Yeah, but they haven't played the big boys yet. Okay, and the one big boy they played, Cheyenne East, they got beat. So they haven't had the Sheridans yet. They haven't had Central yet. We'll see how they are. I think they're a 5 or 6 seed.
Their quality win did come against Rock Springs. Looking at, again, Campbell County, again, lost early on against Cheyenne East, again, on the road against Laramie, where, again, they won that game by a point as well, too, so make note of that. But, again, they still won 31-28 against Rock Springs, and, again, 51-10 over Cheyenne South.
And look who they have left. They still got Natrona. They still got Sheridan.
We'll see. But, again, they've come out strong here. So, again, they put themselves in a position that at least they're playoff bound with a 3 victory.
Well, yeah, so. They should be in the playoffs. Yeah, I think 3 wins automatically will get you in the playoffs, but I think they'll be on the road. I just don't see them being a top 4 team.
We'll see how they develop, again, as they take on the likes of, again, a Cheyenne Central, Sheridan, Natrona, Kelly Walsh as well, too. See how that at least develops for them. But again, they've stamped their ticket already. Again, all it is the top 8 teams. Well, again, Cheyenne South, unfortunately, is not going to match that 3-win mark. Same with Laramie. So, again, at least for Campbell County, again, they sit right now as one of the top teams. Again, they've beaten the teams that they should be beating. So, again,
if you got 2 wins right now, you should be playoff bound. Between Laramie and South, whoever wins that contest is going to have 1 win. And somebody's going to be shut out this year. I think that's basically it. That's your 9 and 10 teams that are not going to be going to the playoffs. And, in the case of South, yeah, you tip your cap. There are the moral victories, and we talked with Wendy Johnson last week. And you got to remember, too, they're doing this without their number one quarterback. Again, Isaiah Hernandez, who had to come from his running back spot, he's about 5'7". He's running the offense with Oseas Garcia and that shoulder injury that he has right now. He has not played since we saw him back in week 1, and he only played about a quarter and a half. So, again, they've been doing this with their backup QB right now. And, again, at 5'7", a little tough to see over that defensive line, especially with 6'2" guys coming at you all the time.
Yeah, again, defense, at least offense is not there. Or again, I would say again, you're looking at small improvements both offensive, defensive side. As be it again, it was a 51-10 victory for Campbell County over Cheyenne South again that game in town as well. But again, it's a small victory for this program, this team, this school that has gone through a lot, especially the past couple seasons. Where again, we were talking game in, game out. Running clock again. South losing by minimum 45, 50 points. Again, they're playing the full 4 quarters. Where again, it's not once we get to the 4th quarter. Oh no, that clock is running as what we saw this past Friday night with Cheyenne East and Laramie. It's no. Again, they're playing that full 48 minutes, and again, that time ticks down at a normal pace instead of that running clock.
Well, think about it too, Nick. 3 running clocks so far this season, all with Laramie. Not with Cheyenne South.
Yeah.
So, again, Cheyenne South has been pushed to the brink, but they have not succumbed. And you got to give Cheyenne South, you tip your cap to them. They are being competitive for 48 minutes, and that's what we were asking. And even Coach Eli Moody, when he talked to us, those are the little leaps and bounds that they got to take with this program.
Yeah.
Are the victories going to come? Maybe not this year. Maybe there might be one in the schedule.
I think they can get it done against Laramie. But, yeah, again, as we've talked plenty with Cheyenne South, I don't expect them to be, again, changing the guard all of a sudden here in 2022. No, it's going to come 2023, 2024. So, again, it's going to build upon itself and moving forward. So, it is what it is. Very quickly, as we need to get to our next guest here, at least on the Pro Show. But I do want to give a shout-out. And, again, we will see head coach Travis Ramsa coming up this Friday night. Again, Burns at home hosting Upton Sundance, the Patriots. Again, we will have that game here live on 1480 K-Ray. Again, Travis Ramsa picking up his first victory as a head coach of the Burns Broncs. Again, they got the road victory against Newcastle, winning that contest pretty handily against the Doggies. Again, 42-15. So congratulations to Travis Ramsa. Again, picking up his first ever head coach victory at the helm of the Burns Broncs. Again, looking to extend that win streak to 2. Hopefully this Friday night.
And they should do so against the Patriots. And we'll talk more with Coach Ramsa. We'll also talk with Coach Garland with the Patriots on our pregame show coming up here this Friday evening. We're going to take a time out. We have Kevin McKinney up next. Yes, the voice of the second voice of the Wyoming Cowboys. Again, former associate athletic director. He's retired, lucky guy. Kevin McKinney coming up right here on 1480 K-Ray.
Wyoming Food Bank of the Rockies is leaning in. We know this is a difficult time for many Wyoming families and that nobody should suffer due to a lack of food. If you or someone you know is in need of nutritious foods, go to our website at wyomingfoodbank.org and click on Get Help. We also need your help. Go to our website, click the Give tab, then Events to learn how you can help your community through volunteering and making a donation. You can play a role in fighting hunger and feeding hope. Please give today.
Treat your taste buds to a warm bagel and Mort's Bagels with your favorite cream cheese. Perfect for the office or perfect at home. Mort's Bagels are always made fresh and delicious daily. They are perfect for breakfast and lunch too. Did I mention perfect? For 3 decades, Mort's has served us with amazing bagels and customer service. Ask about their specialty and seasonal selections too. They even deliver. Mort's Bagels. Treat yourself today. 1815 Cary Avenue, downtown Cheyenne. Now that school is back in session, did you know in Wyoming and every state it's illegal to pass a school bus while the school bus stop arm is extended and the red lights are flashing? Although the school bus is one of the safest modes of transportation, illegal school bus passing is a deadly risk to bus riders and their caretakers. Drivers should always come to a complete stop when a school bus stop arm is extended and the red lights are flashing. Remember, more injuries and fatalities occur outside of or near a school bus because a motorist has failed to obey the stop arm warning or to follow local traffic laws. Watch out for our children. They are our future. Paid for by federal highway safety funds.
Not sure if you're on the right track? Platte Valley Bank can help you and your finances moving forward. Having a plan to save and spend can help build your financial confidence. Knowing you have the right savings plan can help build your financial success. With free tools like online banking and helpful products like automatic savings plans and budgeting tools, you are in control of your financial future. Start saving today at www.pvbank.com. You belong here.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Hop into the K-Ray Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 K-Ray, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480kray.com.
The latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather-wise for today, mostly to partly sunny. Expected daytime high near 85. Mostly cloudy tonight, a low down to 49 degrees with a chance for showers during the evening. Tomorrow, Wednesday, cloudy and temperatures a little bit cooler. We're calling for a daytime high of only 56 and a pretty good chance for showers. And for Wednesday night, showers continuing, our low dropping down to 44 degrees under a cloudy sky. Larry Proietti along with Nick Proietti. We get to bring on our next guest. I think we're going to talk to him from the retirement home. It's a grass hut, I think, on Waikiki Beach. We get a chance to talk with a longtime friend, Kevin McKinney, joining us here inside the Pro Show. Kevin, it's been a long time since we had a chance to talk to you, but talk a little bit about what Kevin McKinney's doing. I'm just kidding about the grass hut over there on Waikiki Beach, but it sounds like a good idea, doesn't it?
Well, I'm sipping Mai Tais right now. It's a really good idea.
So Kev, you know, again, correct me if I'm wrong, what, last year was your last season with the University of Wyoming as far as being the associate athletic director?
Correct. Yep. I retired last June, so a year ago, this past June.
Wow.
So, you know, it's the way to go, though, Larry. I mean, I go up and I do 3 or 4 different things still for the athletic department. I still do the games, but I don't go in every day. You know, I go in when I need to or want to, and that's kind of a nice way to go.
You know, you're kind of a chip off the old block, and I know Pops would be happy with you because, like I said, I had that opportunity to work with your dad for many years, and he just loved being around the excitement all the time, and I know you like to be around the University of Wyoming. You have spent about 4 or 5 centuries there. I mean, decades over. Centuries would work too, but decades over there at the University of Wyoming, right?
Yeah, I've been there 54 years actually, and so it seems like centuries, I'm sure, but I've enjoyed it, and I'm just like Dad in that regard, Larry. I would like to be around the people and what's going on. I couldn't just go, you know, I don't know what I'd do otherwise, to be honest with you.
Well, you know, and it's interesting, too. I don't mean to cut Nick off, because we had Dave in here about 3 weeks ago, a couple 3 weeks ago. And, you know, and Dave said, hey, it's time to, you know, walk away and do, you know, the grandpa things, that type of stuff. And, you know, I'm sitting there and I know that it would be really tough for you. Because, again, and dare I say this, and because I know you are a Red Shane Deans and Whitey Herzog type of guy, but you're kind of like a Tommy Lasorda. I mean, you bleed brown and gold. It would be tough for you to walk away from that situation right now.
It would. You know, the business that you're in the world of athletics, it's such a busy, constant field that it's very difficult to just walk away from it. I don't think I could do that. But, you know, being in sports information and administration as long as I was, there's just many, many hours involved. And honestly, you get used to doing that. And I'm not doing all the hours that I was, but I couldn't just cut it off and not do it at all because, you know, it was 7 days a week through a lot of the year and you know, late nights and all that kind of thing. And I think probably miss that too much. So doing the games and doing a few things here and there, I think is just right for me. It's keeping me involved, and I'm really enjoying it.
Well, and I'm glad that Pops brought up, again, Dave at least his retirement. Again, it was a pleasure having him in studio and chatting with him about his career. For you, Kevin, again, he's a longtime partner, again, whether it was Cowboy basketball games, again, Cowboy football contests. What is it, again, this is something that at least it might be a couple-part question for you, Kevin, but how's it been so far this year? Or again, that realization that Dave's no longer, at least with you at home or on the road, is that kind of I guess the plain and simple, is it kind of a, missing a friend, so to speak, at least being there, at least on the broadcast days?
Yeah, there's no doubt, Nick. I mean, it's we were together for 38 years, and as I said to somebody, that was 12 years longer than I was married. And so, we've been partners through a lot of things, and a lot of trips, and a lot of great games, some stinking games, and it was very difficult not to have him at all. Now I got kind of weaned away in basketball season when he had retired last year from basketball, so got to work with Reese in that regard. But now football. And Dave's not being there, it's an adjustment. I would be lying if I didn't say that. But things change, and that's just the way life is. Sometimes it's very difficult to accept that change, but it happens. And certainly learning to work with Reese in football as well, and it's just what you do, and so. I miss Dave, and I wish him the best and all that. But we had quite a team there for a lot of years, and so it's difficult, but we're doing just fine.
I wanted to go back what you were saying there, Nick, and it's been quite an adjustment. And again, too, I remember bringing Reese on over at the other property that I used to work at many years ago. But coming from the sidelines and moving upstairs, that's a huge adjustment. We can call high school football all we want, but you're moving now into Division I football. This is almost like being part of the pros. But one of the nice things that I've seen you do, and listening to the broadcast, you've kind of settled him in. Because you know the drill, Kevin. You've been through it. Like you said, it's almost like just getting up and taking a shower in the morning. You kind of settled him in, and you can see him now more and more relaxed with each game.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, Larry. And you guys are broadcasters. You do many games yourselves, and going from the sideline upstairs is an unbelievable adjustment. Really, there's so much more involved, and so much preparation and study involved, which Reese is putting that time in. But still in all, when you replace somebody who's been around for as long as Dave was, that's a lot of pressure on him. And I know he was nervous, but I can't imagine how nervous when he that first game at Illinois. And I try to help him as much as I can, but in the long run, he's got to do it, and he is doing it. And I think he is getting more relaxed with it and feeling better about it. But it is a heck of an adjustment for him as well. And it's one of those deals where if you want to advance and in your profession, you got to do these. You got to get through these parts, and he's doing that.
Kevin, let me preface this, at least upcoming question from me to you, of not looking for any breaking news or any scoop from you, but again, with the changing of the guard, again, as we alluded to, again, you retiring from the athletic department there at University of Wyoming, again, we know, again, Dave Walsh stepping down, again, away from football and, again, basketball games, again, the changing of the guard, so to speak, over there on the broadcast side. But, again, you've retired from one aspect of UW. Has there been thoughts over the past couple seasons of yourself kind of stepping away from it just entirely, of, again, away from the mic and just kind of riding off in the sunset and just watching Cowboy games from the stands? Have those thoughts kind of crept up over the past couple of seasons for you, Kevin?
Well, to be honest with you, Nick, I haven't really thought that way. No, not yet. I think I have to adjust to the first part of it, which I feel like I'm doing. After so many years on a daily basis, going in and doing what is necessary there. But I think I feel fine physically, and I still enjoy being around the kids and the travel of it all and the games. I haven't really set a time or a date where maybe I'll step away, but I think, like Dave said, when it's time, and he felt this was his time. I don't feel like mine's quite come yet. I know it will, and I know that that's just a progression of life. So, but I haven't really set a time, so to speak, on how many more years I'm going to go. But I think I'll know, just like Dave did. I think that you do, whether you're a professional athlete or whatever you're doing in life, you when you really love it, and it's just been part of your life, you do know when it's time. I think that you should step away and let somebody else have an opportunity, and I know that's coming. I'm not quite ready for that yet.
Let's talk a little Cowboy football. Let's get into the crux of what we really want to talk about. And we've delved into the Kevin McKinney resume, so let's talk about the Pokes. Talk about that first showing against the Fighting Illini is one that we just basically threw in the garbage can. And obviously the turning point of the season was a missed field goal by Tulsa, and then winning in overtime. And from there, the Cowboys have reeled off 3 consecutive wins. But I think getting the Falcons at home this past Friday night, and we were doing high school football, so we were keeping tabs on the score. But let's talk about that win and the importance of that win for this program.
Well, I think that's exactly the right thing to say. The importance of that win for these kids was really incalculable. I mean, you kind of think back and you say, well, it would have been probably nicer if we could have played Northern Colorado or Tulsa even prior to Illinois, prior to going to Illinois. But that isn't how the schedule played out. So, but that was probably too big of an experience for these young kids to go through right out of the gate. I think it would have been nice to have a game or two before that one. Okay, that didn't happen. But what they did do is they bounced back from that, and the Tulsa win was a really, really big win for them. I think, and as you say, it could have gone either way. It went the Wyoming way, but having won that game helped the UNC game, but having beaten Air Force and done it the way the Cowboys did, really outstanding performance by all 3 areas. I was extremely impressed with offense, defense, special teams, and a lot of young guys stepping up there and playing a very good team, a conference opener, a big game, and to play the way they did, play as hard as they did, and as well. I mean, it was, I would say nobody saw that coming. And I guarantee you the Air Force didn't. I have a feeling they thought this was going to be a fairly easy game when you look at the birthdays they have on their side of the field and the birthdays the Cowboys have. It's totally different. This is a team that's trying to find its way and trying to understand this level of play, and boy, they just went toe to toe and really played well. I think sometimes you look at a season and you point to a game and say, that game there, that's maybe what was the catalyst for the season, maybe a signature win, not that big a word, but something like that. They're going to have a hard time this week. We all know that, going to Provo. Wyoming teams have had a hard time going over there for as long as I can remember. But to win that game and do it the way they did, hang on and make some big plays in order to win the game down the stretch, that's just going to be so big for them as they play through the season.
Well, and again, even looking at Vegas, at least bettors as well, too, and odds makers, especially this past Friday night's contest, again, heavy favorite for Air Force. Again, Wyoming Cowboys kind of shocking the world and getting it done, again, as they sit right now 3-1, 1-0 in Mountain West Conference play, again, sit at top right now, tied with Boise State on that Mountain Division side of things. But, Kevin, I want to get into, as, again, it was in all aspects of win this past Friday night for the Wyoming Cowboys over the Air Force Falcons, but do want to bring up, again, or at least I want to get your assessment on my take on the Wyoming Cowboys, especially on the offensive side, where it feels like it's kind of a work in progress right now, but stats right now do not show at least very well for the Wyoming Cowboys on the offensive side. Passing yards averaging about 148. That puts them near kind of dead last here in the FBS level. Rushing yards, though, again, they're mid-tier. Again, 160, at least 163.5 yards average per game. Points for, again, 24. Again, points against as well, too. The Wyoming Cowboys, 24.8. But, again, let's go back to this offense. Do you get that sense and feeling 4 games into the season that this offense is improving upon since it was week 1 on the road in Illinois? Or, again, what is your take on this Wyoming Cowboy offense?
I think number one, and you always have to start with this, Nick, that it goes back to the quarterback. And Andrew was playing his first game at Illinois. He, by his own admission, was terrible. The offense was really, really inept. And so as you see Andrew get, Peasley I'm talking about, get more familiar with his teammates, the offense, he's a good player. And, honestly, after the Illinois game, I think we were all going, is he the guy for this job? And he played a little bit at Utah State. Ironically, won the Air Force game over there. But when you watch him play now, he just has all the ingredients. He's really a smart guy. He really sees defenses. I think he's done a really good job of getting the Cowboys out of the called play into another play that he believes will work better against what he's looking at. Is he a Josh Allen down the field guy? No, he's not at all, and that's not what anybody expected. But he can run, he can roll out, he can throw on the run. He's accurate. He makes the right reads, and he's a guy that in the locker room everybody knows he's the leader, and I think that's extremely important for that position. So that was a major thing, obviously, for the quarterback to be like he is. But the other thing is that offensive line, and nobody was sure about how they would come together because there's some young people in there. But they have really done a great job. I've been of any area of the team, guys. That area, that offensive line has been the most impressive to me. And the most pleasant surprise. They are doing a great job, and each week will be a bigger challenge for them. This one coming up as well, but they don't make many mistakes. The team doesn't make many mistakes. They don't get a lot of flags, but they can run block. They do a decent job of pass blocking, and they're just going to get better. You're talking about 2 redshirt freshmen and a true freshman playing the second half, not the second half, but the whole game last week. So, there's a couple of really good veterans, but there are some really good, talented young guys who are just going to get bigger and stronger and better. But to have them play together like they are, which is so critical to an offensive line, and to have them play as well as they are, they've got a lot of confidence. They feel really good about themselves, and I think that's the biggest part of the Cowboy offense. Now, those stats you mentioned, Nick. The stats aren't great. They're not that impressive. But what Wyoming does so far is it gets the stats at the right times of the game, and they get a big run when they really need it. They get a pass play when they really need it. Their third down conversions haven't been great, but last week the way they kept the Air Force offense off the field was impressive. Usually Air Force dominates time of possession, and they weren't able to do that. So we knew the Cowboy running game would be decent, but they're doing just what they need to do to win games, and after all, that's what it's all about.
In my years of seeing all Wyoming Cowboy football teams, the good years where we saw that flash, that swagger, a superstar here and there. This to me right now, and again, I sat here and said, I don't think they got a shot against the Hurricane, Golden Hurricane after losing to the Fighting Illini. But my point is, this seems to be a very blue-collar team that just goes to work every weekend. And, again, there's really, you mentioned Peasley, but other than that, there's Titus One. But my point is, there's really nobody that's the big flash and glamour type of football player on that team. It's 22 guys getting it done.
Yeah, I think that's a really good analysis of it, Larry. This is not a star-studded team by any means, and really, you're right. There's not a superstar. The one superstar they had ended up at Texas, and so there was one big play receiver who would have had that tag had he stayed at Wyoming, but he didn't do that. So, but the rest of them, and nobody seems to be interested in being a superstar. They just want to play and have fun. They're really a close knit team. I think because of that, and so there's nothing wrong with that, actually. You can use a superstar here and there, believe me, but you don't have to have one. And I don't think this team does, and I don't think it bothers them if they don't.
Kevin, I want to get your assessment on this. For the Wyoming Cowboys, again, still a lot of football left. Again, we have the upcoming contest, again, non-conference opponent, again, renewing the rivalry against BYU, but there's still a lot of Mountain West Conference still left to be played. This is a Cowboys team that was picked in the preseason, finish near dead last in this conference. Is kind of, I would say, shocking a few folks, including us ourselves, where, again, we didn't have high hopes for the Cowboys, but for your fair assessment, Kevin, and again, at least get hopefully your honest opinion on this, and looking how the Mountain West Conference is shaping out so far with some of the shocks and surprises here early on, do the Cowboys have a legitimate shot of being one of two teams to vie for a Mountain West Conference championship, or is there a Boise State or a Fresno, San Diego State that's going to sneak in? Again, does this Cowboys team, do you have that sense and feeling that they could pull off something special here in 2022?
Well, that's the $1 million question, Nick. I really don't know. I would say that the people that were picked to win the league are probably the ones that are going to be near the top of the league. But Wyoming will obviously has surprised some people, and I think that the Cowboys will continue to do that. Do they have enough to get to the championship game, for instance? I don't know. You never know about teams, and this could be one of those teams that just continues to grow and continues to feel good about itself to the point where the next thing you know, they're in position to make some noise. But they have a long ways to go to really start talking that way, I believe. There's some veteran teams that we know are very good who are going to be right in the middle of right in the mix. But the Cowboys could be in the mix. You just never know. This team is one of those outfits that they don't make a lot of mistakes. The way they play, they just do their jobs. A guy will make a great play here and there, but it's more of a methodical type team that I'm talking offensively primarily, but defensively, I think they're playing exceptionally well, and they have more veterans on that side, so maybe that's not a surprise. But I think this team can really cause some damage, and I really don't think that anybody is going to look forward to playing them, but because it's the kind of outfit that you just never know what they're capable of. I don't think they know exactly what they're capable of yet. They just haven't been through enough wars as a group. So to say they're going to be in the championship, I certainly wouldn't say that yet. But stranger things have happened, and if they continue to grow like they are, they certainly won't be up last. We know that much. So I think they're going to be a surprise in that regard, and a much better team than that.
Final thought from me, Kevin. Again, thank you so much. It's been a long time since we've had a chance to chat with you. We can do this because we're not coaches. We can look ahead. We know that San Jose State comes into the war after BYU under the lights, but also, too, and this is why I'm going to kind of pick your brain a little bit, give us a little inside track, because I know the Cowboy basketball team will be having a scrimmage. So what do we know about the 2022-2023 Cowboy basketball team?
Well, that's such a different story, Larry, in that it has a lot of veterans. And as Jeff Linder says, you got to have birthdays, and the Cowboys do have that. They've had guys who played a lot of basketball. Can the new additions, who are impressive as can be, can they work in and fit in and contribute to those veterans? That'll be the question. But if you just look at it on paper, this is going to be a very good team, and I know people are very excited about them. They were a good team last year, and they've added some parts that I think will really help them. But you just never know. Who knows how the chemistry is. I'm assuming that it's going to be fine, but that's a big part of it, especially when you bring in some new parts. I think so far so good. If looking at preseason workouts and whatnot, their time in Greece. I think that was a big thing too, by the way, to make that trip to Greece with those new players. Everybody got to know each other, and everybody got to play with each other and see who has what game. And I think that was a very critical trip that Jeff Linder took there with those kids. So they have a leg up on that. But I think we do know this much: there's a lot of talent on that team, and I have a good feeling that Jeff Linder will get them all on the right page, and I think it's going to be a heck of a year. Really excited about it.
All right, Kevin, well, we want to thank you so much for joining us, and again, don't be a stranger. Come back and talk to us anytime.
Yeah, and call me anytime, Larry and Nick. I'm happy to help.
All righty, Kevin McKinney joining us here on 1480 K-Ray, talking Wyoming Cowboys and more. It is high noon. We are going to take a timeout. We'll come back. We have our next special guest coming up right here on 1480 K-Ray.
Next time you have a craving for authentic Mexican cuisine, visit Hacienda Guadalajara at 317 East Lincoln Way. Locally owned and operated, they serve their dishes with family tried and true recipes with the freshest of ingredients, made to order. Start off your meal with their complimentary chips, salsa, and bean dip. And if you're feeling adventurous, enjoy your favorite margarita or cerveza. Hacienda Guadalajara, where the spice is always nice.
Cheyenne Urological has been the cornerstone of urinary care to Cheyenne and its surrounding communities for over 30 years. With their fine expert doctors, along with their highly trained staff, they will provide top-quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence. Cheyenne Urological is now offering cutting-edge robotic surgery. So call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131 for compassionate, expert urinary care. That's 635-4131. MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in Bow, Cheyenne, and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. We're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is lumber one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Remember, for all your lumber and hardware needs, stop at the family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne. It's always non-stop excitement when you visit one of our 3 locations of Wyoming Downs, inside the Outlaw Saloon on the South Greeley Highway, the Cheyenne Plaza, and at 1345 Delrange Boulevard, next to Culver's and Office Depot, where we offer many new machines and also have plenty of food and drink on hand in our spacious Delrange location. The action is always fast and furious with our pari-mutuel wagering from the nation's tracks and our pari-mutuel machines, which offer many different and fun games to play on. You can become the next big winner here in Cheyenne. Make sure to take advantage of all the promotions that we offer too. So come on in today and bring a friend to enjoy a lot of fun and excitement at Wyoming Downs in the Cheyenne Plaza, inside the Outlaw Saloon, and at 1345 Delrange Boulevard. Open 7 days a week. For more information, go to wydowns.com. Your locally owned and operated radio stations, KYOI FM and 1480 K-Ray AM, are just that, local, serving Cheyenne and Laramie County, where your advertising dollar stays local too. It doesn't end up in Colorado, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, or even New York. We conduct business here. We shop here, and we live here. And we support our entire community 24/7, 365. Just because it has a window dressing doesn't mean it isn't a facade. A reminder from KYOI and 1480 K-Ray.
If you're looking to make a difference in local health care, Cheyenne Regional Medical Center is the place for you. We're more than just a hometown hospital. We are the largest health system in Wyoming with the latest technology. We want to help you grow as a person as well as within your career in health care. Inspire great health with us at Cheyenne Regional Medical Center. To learn about our opportunities, call us at 307-633-7871 or send us an email at recruiting@crmcwy.org.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather-wise for today, mostly to partly sunny. Expected daytime high near 85. Mostly cloudy tonight, a low down to 49 degrees with a chance for showers during the evening. Tomorrow, Wednesday, cloudy and temperatures a little bit cooler. We're calling for a daytime high of only 56 and a pretty good chance for showers. And for Wednesday night, showers continuing, our low dropping down to 44 degrees under a cloudy sky.
Right now on 1480 K-Ray, it's time for the Pro Show, featuring the only father and son sports talk show talking about the local sports scene as we take a look back and look ahead to upcoming events around our area. The Pro Show is on now, right here on 1480 K-Ray.
And welcome back to the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti. Good chance now to talk to Cheyenne East golf coach Todd Oswald, who joins us. And Coach, thanks for your patience during the break there. We get a chance to talk golf. We've talked with the athletic directors about the golf programs, but let's get it first and foremost from one of the coaches. And again, conference champions struggled quite a bit last week at Rock Springs. We'll get more into that in a little bit. But I guess my first question to you, Coach, again, this is a program that starts officially in August and wraps up with the state tournament last week. So again, it's bang, zoom, boom, we're all done with it. But when you saw the various courses throughout the state of Wyoming and the dry summer that we had, did you see courses that were in different shape throughout the course of the conference season?
You know, we did. Most of the courses do a really good job, though, of keeping their courses well manicured and enough water on them. You know, unfortunately, Rock Springs, where state was hosted, had some trouble with their well water to throw on top of the dry conditions. And so their fairways were a little rough in places, but overall they really had their course in pretty good shape, you know, for all the trouble that they had throughout the summer.
You know, and that's what I was driving at with Rock Springs. And again, for the Thunderbirds, did it force us to change our attack mode? Because, again, sometimes with those fairways being a little rough or whatever the case may be, also too could be a little bit on the hard side where the ball bounces. Did you have to adjust your game a little bit for that course?
We didn't really. Like I said, there was some fairways that were a little sketchy in places, but I think we put ourselves in trouble off the tee. And Rock Springs course main defense is their sage, and a lot of their fairways are lined with the sagebrush. And once you get in there, it's tough to get back out. And so our kids, struggled a little bit off the tee both days. And once you find yourself in there, you're either taking an unplayable lie or playing it out sideways to try to, advance the ball at all. So I think that's really where we got ourselves into the most trouble.
And Coach, we'll get more into the state tournament, again, results as well, too, for your team. But, again, for at least conference champions on the boys' side, which, again, is something you got to be proud of. But let's recap conference season, or at least this regular season for Cheyenne East Golf. What did you see? What did you like? And what kind of led to, again, boys on the boys' side being conference champs here in 2022?
We have a really good core of kids that came back from the state tournament last year, and they were all underclassmen. And, they got pushed, too. We have kids that never saw a varsity event, but were there daily in practice pushing kids from freshmen to seniors, and I think that competition just drove these kids to make themselves better. The other thing, and we kind of saw it with Easton Paxton, the Riverton kiddo, several years ago, where you just have that one really good golfer, and he kind of draws all the other golfers to him to play more and to raise their game. And I think that's what Nash did for us. Our main core that played varsity for most of the year, those kids were playing all summer together and, pushing each other on the course, pushing each other to get better. And, that really paid off. To start the season, I think Coach Hardigan and myself, we kind of thought we were still a year away. And those kids just really stepped up and showed us, hey, we're ready to compete right now. And it kind of culminated at conference where, boy, we just played really well for a couple of days. And it was just fun to watch these young kids come together and really put it all together for that conference tournament.
Todd, you're in an interesting position as the head coach of the golf, at least program, whether it is for you at Chinese, Central, or South. But again, obviously, fall time, especially on boys' athletic side, focuses either to fall baseball or, again, at least continuing with Cheyenne Post 6, and also to focus on football. I guess what I'm driving at, Coach, is for this season, did we get good numbers turn out for the team, or were we hoping to get at least a little bit more as the season at least got underway here in 2022?
We ended up with 54 kids total. We had 40 boys and 14 girls. I think this is the most girls that Paul and I have ever had out in my 15 years here anyway. So our numbers were back up to where COVID kind of knocked us down a little bit, and our numbers were in the mid to upper 30s, and it started rebounding last year. But to have 54 kids out was pretty cool.
Todd, and I'm glad Nick brought that up too, because we got, especially on cable now, we got the Golf Channel, and then again the various tournaments, and you can see on the PGA side that it's a younger guys game. And again, they're really good athletes, and I tip my cap to that. Unfortunately, and you mentioned that with the ladies, only 14 ladies came on out. We're not getting, the ladies are not getting that prime time anymore on television like they, again, I'm an old fart here, but they used to always have the LPGA, all that kind of good stuff that was on TV. Is that kind of turning some of the ladies off for coming out for golf just because it's not getting that primetime exposure anymore?
I'm not sure about that. Our volleyball program, I'll just speak for East. I know our volleyball program is phenomenal. And they just draw a number of girls, and it's, it just seems to be a far more popular sport right now than golf does. But, like we talk to the girls, there's a lot of opportunities that people don't realize to move on to the next level, where you don't have to be a superstar female golfer to earn a scholarship. And so there's a lot of opportunities for girls to earn scholarships at that next level, which we think is pretty cool.
Todd, let's talk about, the opportunities, especially with volleyball. And I'm glad you mentioned volleyball. There's camps. Football, there's camps. Do we have golf camps, or do we just go out and play 9 holes at Prairie View and that's practice? I mean, tell us a little bit, especially on that coaching side, what you offer to the young men and women.
We've helped for years. Coach Lepore runs his, we call it the Tuesday Junior program, and he runs that at Prairie View. And it's just a great opportunity for kids age 3rd grade and up to come out and get an hour's worth of lesson, and then they're able to go out onto the golf course and play a little bit too, which I know both of my kiddos went through it for a time, and just really enjoyed that time being on the golf course and with their friends and not having adults out there pushing them. And kids kind of always get frowned on a little bit, especially the younger kids as they start, but Coach Lepore has really offered that to the younger kids, and it's been a great thing for the city of Cheyenne just to see the numbers, with Central and South as well. And in a lot of those spaces, we're seeing our kids that we saw in 3rd grade coming to our junior camps, which is pretty cool.
Coach, let's go into the state tournament again, happening this past weekend in Rock Springs. As you alluded to, again, conditions out there on the course, again, a little interesting out there in Rock Springs, especially just with at least, again, with the water usage out there. But, for Cheyenne East, especially on the boys' side, had at least, I don't know if high expectations were there, but again, being conference champs, you kind of, at least folks would say, hey, they have a good shot at winning the state, especially on a team side for golf. What kind of led to, again, Cheyenne East at least having some difficulties in the state tournament, or at least out there in Rock Springs? Let's talk about and recap what you saw from your athletes out there in Rock Springs.
Our expectations were very high. I think, both from the coaching staff and the boys themselves, after coming off a conference championship, and our conference is pretty tough. We had very high expectations to, at worst, bring home a top 3 trophy. And, I think the pressure, maybe with some of the younger kids got to them a little bit. And then just like I said, our T-ball at state wasn't very good from our 1 guy to our 5 guy. And I think that's where we got in so much trouble is we were in the Sage and just struggled to rebound from that. And then once things started going bad, they just kind of snowballed a little bit. But, Coach Hartigan and I were both super proud of the kids day 2. I think we improved our score from 340 down to I think we were 318 day 2. So that's a pretty big improvement for one day. So, I talked to the kids Friday night about coming out and competing day 2, and boy, they really showed that they have some heart and pride in their program and in themselves, and they really competed well day 2, to drop that number that far. It was pretty cool to see.
Coach, looking at the golf season, and obviously playing golf myself, you're good till about the end of October in our part of the world. So obviously the kids that are more of a one sport type athlete, they're not going into basketball or wrestling or whatever during the winter. Is there off-season conditioning exercises that you recommend for your young men and young women to stay fresh for the spring season of golf?
We just ask them to continue to play as long as they can in the fall. And we've talked to a lot of our kids about the strength and conditioning program. And East, again, does a great job with their athletes of getting them into weight classes. And the strength coaches up there do a great job, kind of sports-specific strength training for those kiddos. And we've talked to our kids about, put yourself in that strength and conditioning program. Our young lady who was 14th, Jamie Palmer, who's improved a ton, just watching her play over the couple of days where she struggled a little bit was just her length. She hits the ball so straight, but if she could get just a little bit stronger, then she's going to keep up with those girls that are shooting in the 70s, and she's going to be right there by the time she's a senior. She's just a sophomore this year, and so we've really talked to her about getting in the weight room and strength and conditioning over the off season and during the summer, just to improve that distance for her will be huge.
I've noticed, and this takes me way back, and gosh, I hate to age myself here, but I notice within our community we have indoor facilities like Wyco, or over by 2 doors down, you can go in there and hit baseball and catch baseball. And I remember many, many moons ago, I do believe it was called Bolorama at the time, they had indoor golf. Are there any of those type of facilities available for the young men and women to get indoors and just keep that stroke fresh as they go from one season to the other?
Unfortunately, there's not. I know there's a couple in the works. The head coach at South he's trying to secure a location, and he wants to put in an indoor facility with a TrackMan, and so the kids can stay fresh through the winter and continue working on their game to continue to keep it sharp and moving forward. And I believe there was one other that the kiddos were talking about that's trying to secure location and get everything going have a couple of hitting bays. So again, the kids can just continue through the winter when our weather gets iffy.
And that's good. I'm glad that you mentioned that too, and we keep our fingers crossed that comes to fruition. Coach Oswald, thank you so much for joining us, and again, congratulations on the conference championship on the boys' side. And we'll get them in the spring.
You bet. Hey, thank you guys. I want to give one shout out to Central boys and their number one girl. Boy, they really stepped up. Their senior boys at state played really well. And their boys all, to come from kind of nowhere and to secure a second place spot up at state, boy, that's just a testament to their hard work and the coaching staff over there. So really proud of those guys.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much. Todd Oswald, head coach over at Cheyenne East, as he joins us on the golf side. So again, not so much you put the clubs away, Nick, but it's getting close, and then you got to get ready for the spring season. And spring golf is a lot tougher than it is during August into September.
No, especially where, again, it's played March time out here. So, again, even where we have difficulty for at least softball, again, outdoor sport out here, again, golf.
Many
I can only
layers of
imagine.
clothes.
Yeah, I can only imagine, again, at least uniqueness for spring golf here in the state of Wyoming. But again, at least we were planning to have Todd on at least a while ago, or at least, again, Paul Hardigan as well, too. Again, the former boys head coach at Cheyenne. He's, again, still with the program, but again, his kind of roles reverse, again, kind of monitoring more on the girls' side. But either way, again, conference champions on the boys' side for Cheyenne East. Again, had a rough going there at the state tournament, but again, it's just how it goes of, again, those just unique courses and just how you prepare it. Again, those high expectations, as Coach alluded to, again, it seemed like got to the athletes. So, again, either way, hopefully, again, for Cheyenne East, can at least turn it around in the springtime. Again, Central, we do know, again, even with under at least new head coach over
Kevin
there. Again,
Georges.
yeah, so again, they have found some success. South still developing their program on both the girls and boys side. Again, I don't believe
But we're seeing the participation, though. That's the nice thing. Again, you think about all of the sports going on during the fall, summer, fall. Football is going to take a lot of your athletes. You got cross country, you got tennis, you got swimming. But like Todd mentioned, 54 kids came out for golf this year. That's pretty doggone good.
Yeah, again, majority of them, again, at least on the male side, again, females, at least he did say, again, it's improved from where
14,
they, so again, it was higher numbers than what they've had in years past. So again, that's good that, again, golf, much as, again, I will, again, it's a sport that I will not watch just on TV. Just, again, it's something that has never been at least high on the interest, but at least it's something that, again, it's still a sport to go out and play and do. That, again, it's something that, again, that athletes, or at least so that younger generation has not given up on. Or at least, again, it will continue on. And again, it's something that I don't know how I'm trying to exactly explain it, but it's something that, again, with cross country, with tennis, with football as well too, volleyball on the women's side, swimming as well too. Let's address that. Swimming at least is ongoing during the fall time as well. That, again, you figured golf would have probably kind of the lower number aspect, or at least kind of struggle to get those to come on out, but still kind of goes strong out in this part of the world, especially as we do deal with interesting and unique weather conditions, including the wind out here to play. At least get again 18 holes of golf, and whether it is here in Cheyenne or again throughout the entire state of Wyoming.
But the scholarship opportunities for these young men and women, especially like on the ladies' side, those scholarship activities to go to that next level and play golf. And again, too, you look at the tours these days. And again, obviously you talk about the pro tour. The new generation, the post-Tiger Woods generation that is playing golf right now, have come from good collegiate programs. And these younger guys are making marks early on the tour.
And I wonder if golf is also too benefiting, especially on the younger side. And again, maybe it's a parent or a player decision or a combination of both. But again, as we learn more about, again, what football does to, again, youth, or again, a high school athlete, especially with the CTEs, and again, just that longevity of life, or again, it's been a big at least topic controversy, and again, something we bring up to those coaches many a time, saying, hey, is football still something to go out and play, which it still is,
still cool.
But again, you still wonder if that's playing in a factor of where those would-be football players kind of go, I don't know if I want to jeopardize, mental health or, again, physical health, anything like that. Instead, here's golf, or here's tennis, or again, some of those other sports where, again, football is a prime time. Mm-hmm. Some of these other ones now benefit, where we're starting to, again, understand that, hey, football can have its long-term, at least, health complications.
You see a lot of baseball and basketball players now that are playing golf. Yeah, football players like to go out and play golf too, but really, it's your baseball and your football player and your basketball players that are getting a lot of golf in. And again, that's in between sports.
Yeah.
You figure, like with Post 6, for example, you're just coming out of Post 6. Hey, you go to the golf course. Basketball doesn't heat up until about November, so you go out and play a little golf. You're keeping somewhat in shape, but you're also doing the hand-eye coordination thing, and seeing the ball, hitting the ball, that type of deal.
Yeah, plain and simple. But either way, again, as we will move on, again, for Cheyenne East, again, conference champions on the boys' side, again, just had a rough go of it on the state tournament side. Instead, we'll now focus our efforts, again, spring, same with Cheyenne South, Cheyenne Central, again, both boys and girls. And again, that won't start up until March of 2023. But outside of that, again, I do believe we need to take our final break, get back into it. We're, again, at least coming out of the break, we will talk and give updates on LCCC as their at least athletics are underway. Again, they're about midway through a lot of their sports, again, including men and women's soccer, also to volleyball. We'll give you updates where, especially on the soccer side, where, again, we talk about how LCCC in years past has been one of the elites, or, again, in the top 25 kind of consistently on the nationwide polls. They've kind of run into their struggles here in 2022, so we'll talk more about that.
All right, we will be back. You're listening to the Pro Show on 1480 K-Ray. Back after this timeout.
MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in both Cheyenne and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
When you are dealing with the coin shop to buy, sell, or trade your gold, silver, or other precious metals, you will be met with honesty, fairness, knowledge, and exceptional customer service. The Coin Shop has been serving Cheyenne since 1982 and is a respected member of our community. Call David today at 778-7196 to meet privately or visit during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. The Coin Shop, a dealer you can trust, 510 West 16th Street.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. It's your one-stop to shop for these super radio buys heard only right here. Jose Cuervo Special Tequila, Gold or silver, 750 milliliter bottle, $16.49. Bush or Bush Light, 30-pack, 12-ounce cans, $20.99. And Tanqueray Dry Gin, 750 milliliter bottle, $17.99. Town and Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low price leader. For nearly 30 years, family-owned and operated Lennox Auto Body, along with the Auto Glass and Detail Center, has been serving our community with quality and customer satisfaction. It's a pretty simple drill. When you want it done right the first time, call Lennox Auto Body for an appointment at 307-634-6608. Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue. And the Auto Glass and Detail Center. Remember, it's not clean until it's Lennox clean at 617 East Pershing Boulevard.
Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
Your local hometown bank, First Year Bank, invites you to come celebrate the first anniversary of their downtown branch at 18th and Cary. And during the anniversary celebration, come to either branch at 1508 Stillwater Avenue or downtown and enjoy some coffee and cookies. First Year Bank is still offering the best CD rates around on a wide variety of CD products. So talk with Caitlin, Amy, and Lavana today. And for all your commercial lending needs, let Tim, Tad, Stacy, and Spencer hook you up to suit your business needs. First Year Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue, and now celebrating their second branch's one-year anniversary at 18th and Cary. We want to be your bank. Member FDIC.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. We're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is number one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Remember, for all your lumber and hardware needs, stop at the family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
Chase a new adventure with a new Kia. I'm A.J. Miller for Kia of Cheyenne, and the all-new 2023 Kia Sportage is built for the rugged road with available multi-terrain all-wheel drive. Other available options include X-Pro trims, LED lighting, and advanced technologies like the 12-inch dual panoramic display. With Kia, get one of the best warranties in the business. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to kiaofcheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
Hey Cheyenne, it's Lee at Absolute Flooring. Are you ready to get that new floor you've been waiting for? Wait no more. Mohawk's summer sale is here. Absolute Flooring has placed all types of flooring by Mohawk and other manufacturers on sale, just in time for you to get that new floor now. Low prices throughout the store, no interest financing, experienced fashion consultants. What are you waiting for? Beat feet down to Absolute Flooring in the Cheyenne Plaza and see us at AbsoluteFlooringWYO.com. It's always your home, your floor, your store, absolutely.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather-wise for today, mostly to partly sunny. Expected daytime high near 85. Mostly cloudy. Tonight it'll low down to 49 degrees with a chance for showers during the evening. Tomorrow, Wednesday, cloudy and temperatures a little bit cooler. We're calling for a daytime high of only 56 and a pretty good chance for showers. And for Wednesday night, showers continuing, our low dropping down to 44 degrees under a cloudy sky. We welcome you back to the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti. And, well, let's, switch on over to LCCC. We haven't talked much about Laramie County Community College in a while because high schools have been going full-blown right now. Do want to mention coming up, I do believe it's on the 15th and 16th next month, will be the Sean Doobie Memorial Rodeo. Volleyball and soccer, hot and heavy right now. Let's see, the Lady Golden
Same
Eagles.
with the esports.
Yeah, esports too, with a new head coach as well. But do want to mention
we have a couple, at least for, and this is kind of the surprising thing for, outside of, again, well, I guess technically Jim is a new coach because, again, he was not the head coach as we knew a couple months ago. Again, that was former head coach, again, Nate Olness. But, again, for all four of the sports underway at LCCC, you have interim or, again, new faces at the helm. And at least we'll start on the volleyball side of things where, again,
they're 9-6.
9-6 right now, again, doing very well in conference play, which, again, is the important thing. They're on a 6-game winning streak as of right now. So for volleyball, again, improvement from previous couple seasons on that side. So at least good to see for LCCC, again, the new hire out there, again, at least making improvements for at least Lady Golden Eagle volleyball. Again, as we mentioned, 9-6. So, again, they're about midway through at least their season, again, at least getting conference, at least underway there. But moving away from volleyball, which again is finding success right now, we will see if they can come away with a Region 9 championship. Again, I do believe, at least on the volleyball side of things, Casper, the World, again, is going to be at least tough. I do believe Northeastern as well, just to name a few that some of those teams are at least.
They had success against Lamar, Trinidad, and Otero here recently, but they will be back in action here at the volleyball side Friday. They will be in Riverton to take on the Lady Wrestlers, and then they go to Powell on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, 2 o'clock against the Lady Trappers.
So on the road. But again, let's shift over again as volleyball's showing improvement from previous couple seasons and see if they can come away with a Region 9 championship, which again has been quite a few seasons since, again, Austin Alberts was able to get that done for LCCC and, again, get that team to the national, at least, tournament. At least, again, programs that we're used to at least saying, hey, that they are national tournament contenders or, again, should make it, again, should win Region 9 champions, at least championships or either district championships. You kind of question right now if either team's going to make it to the postseason or at least make it to those national tournaments, and that is including men's and women's soccer at LCCC right now. We'll start on the women's side where, again, under interim head coach Jim Garner, again, coming after, again, the abrupt resignation by Nate Olness, again, taking over the program in a short amount of time. Right now for the Lady Golden Eagles, they sit at 3-5. They have found success, at least, again, their 3 victories have come in conference against Lamar, Northeastern, and on the road at Central Wyoming. Did lose at Western Wyoming, which is a surprising one there. Again, at least it's been quite some time since the Lady Mustangs have found at least success against LCCC, but they did on the road out there in Rock Springs. Non-conference, it was pretty brutal for LCCC, again, losing at home against Iowa Western, Eastern Florida State College. Again, those are teams that are in that national tournament and took care of business pretty, at least, I wouldn't say pretty handily, but again, got the road victories. And then in neutral side in Kansas, lost to Coffeyville Community College and lost at Butler Community College. So 3-5 is the mark right now for LCCC. Again, started in the top 25 preseason polls, have definitely fallen out at this point in time.
But 3-1 in Region 9, right?
Yeah, at least 3-1 in Region 9. And again, the 3 victories, as I alluded to, and again, the 1 loss at Western. We will see as they get into the North position, especially against that Casper Lady Thunderbirds team that, again, won the division, or at least won Region 9 last year. Again, they are set to be the favorites. See how that battle matches up. But right now, especially on the, at least, and again, I'll include both men and women on the soccer side. And we'll focus right now, at least this first portion on the women's side. This is a team that, again, whether it was under Jim Gardner or under Nate Olness, was that kind of consistent of, hey, you expect them to be in Region 9 championship games, to win it, to, again, make it onto that national tournament. Here we are in 2022. I sit and pause and, again, look at, especially that 1 loss on the road against Western Wyoming, but, again, the non-conference and everything. You kind of, again, I stop and question, can the Lady Golden Eagles of LCCC win a Region 9 championship or make it back to that national tournament? I
think they can reach. I'll tell you how they're going to do it, Nick, and this is no different than talking with Cheyenne Central football coach Mike Apodaca. It starts in the summer, and then it's a build. Well, here's the situation. It started in the summer when Jim Gardner said, yeah, I'll take over. And again, it's reacquainting yourself with the program, reacquainting yourself with the team. And again, it's now going from one coach's philosophy to another coach's philosophy. Yes, you throw the ball in the middle of the field, bounce it, let's go kick it around. But there's more mechanics involved, and Jim is kind of that mechanics type of guy. So again, you're adapting to his style as opposed to what you were learning under Nate Olness. I think it's starting to come together a little bit. It was a slow start.
Do I think that LCCC right now in Region 9, whether it's north or south, and again, comparing to, again, the Western Wyomings, the Caspers of the world, on down to Otero, to Northeastern, especially on the women's side, is LCCC the best team in this region? I don't think so. Again, we will see, again, that battle with Casper and see how the Region 9 tournament pans out. But this is something, again, for years past, and again, this is just holding this program, and again, same with the men's side, again, holding these programs to that high standard of, hey, it's national tournament or bust, and again, in years past, it was, hey, national championship or bust for a season, and again, I think Coach Gardner would agree upon that is this a Is this a national title contender team on the women's side? No, I do not think so. And again, it's going to be for LCCC to make it back to that national tournament. And again, their benefit on the women's side is that they don't have to play in a district championship. Again, they just get that. Again, once they win regionals, they automatically get that berth in. It's going to be a tough road ahead for them to get in that national tournament, especially, again, when they see Caspers or, again, get shocked by, again, like I said, that Western Wyoming, at least, contest. Again, it's been a while since the Lady Mustangs have pulled off that upset.
See, again, beginning, now we're getting down towards the end. The critical weekend is this weekend. You got Northwest on Friday. You got Casper College on Saturday.
Which, again, Casper, we know, is really good. And, again, Northwest, from our understanding, and I think even Coach Gardner spoke upon it, that Northwest Lady Trappers, they are improving as well.
So, and again, here's where and they're both on the road.
Yeah.
So if you could split, that's the first thing you'd look for. But I think right now, the kinks that were plaguing the women's team have kind of worked themselves out. And I think right now you're seeing a more fluid women's soccer team on the field. And again, I think Region 9 is a very good reality for this team.
Yeah, again, we will see how it develops, especially this weekend, just how they come out, which, again, it could be a bloodbath, or, again, it's going to be a battle either way, again, against Northwest and on the road against Casper. So see how LCCC hopefully can come unscathed. Right now, again, my expectations for this team is right now, as it seems, again, I'm just going off of paper and looking at stats, again, without being able to at least go over and see this team in person. For LCCC on the Lady Golden Eagles side on soccer, this is a team that I think could make it to that Region 9 championship game, but I just don't. I think they're gonna face against a Casper or, again, one of those teams that's just gonna be a slight bit better than them. That's gonna take down that championship, and that's the only way. Again, right now as it stands for LCCC, I don't think they get that benefit as we saw in years past, especially under head coach Nate Olness, where we didn't win a Region 9 championship, but again, that prestige, that top 25 prowess got them at least that automatic at-large bid into that national tournament. For LCCC as of right now this season for this women's squad, and same with the men, for the women, again, it's Region 9 championship or bust. You got to win this thing. You're not going to get, again, that namesake is not going to get you that at-large bid for this national tournament.
Well, I think, too, we have been spoiled over the years with LCCC when Jim Gardner was there and on the men's side with Vince Gibson. And we saw the W's. We expected the W's, and I think
this season
we saw the competition get tougher though. The preseason,
and this season as well too. Again, we expected those victories in non-conference and conference, which again they are coming in conference absolutely, but again non-conference for both sides were losses. There were no victories here or there for either side, and that's kind of the surprising thing. Where in years past, and again, for both of these teams, these are recruits of Nate Olness. This is something that, on the men's side, this is recruits of Vince Gibson and staff that was handed down. So again, this is something that, again, these are proven winners of years past that have won championships, that have made it to those national tournaments. It's surprising to just see that it is not gelling here in 2022 of what has been the disconnect or what has been the issues, whether it is injury or, again, just play calls. What has been again, we have the high expectations, and they're not meeting it.
So well, and I hate to use the analogy here. They've got a target on their back from the entire Region 9. Okay, and I hate to use this, but they remind me of the old Oakland Raiders. Everybody wants to get after. They want to beat these guys so bad. Well, you got to look at. Here's the situation here. Johnny Madden's left the team in Vince Gibson on the boys' side. No. Okay, so you got a new head coach, and
who's been a part again. Nothing against at least Coach Perez, but again, he's been a part of that.
But
program.
He's not Vince. Okay, same thing over on the other side. Jim retires. Nate Olness comes in. Nate didn't have that great success right out of the box like Jim did. Okay, Nate leaves,
but he found some success.
But he did not have the Jim Gardner success. So Jim comes back, and this is Nate's recruits. And now they're trying to get used to each other. Soccer is not just soccer, okay? There's a lot more technical involved in it than just kicking the ball, like I said earlier. So the thing is, you have all these pieces that need to be put together. So again, like I said, I use the Oakland Raiders analogy. You got a target on your back every time you go out onto the field. Everybody wants to beat wants to beat LCCC. All right. So again, beating LCCC says something about your program.
Yeah.
It's been at the top. And again, with LCCC, this is a little tough for them to experience right now. However, in Region 9 play right now, they're okay.
Again,
the women are 3. I know the women are 3-1, and the men are 2-1 in Region 9.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out again midway point of the season as of right now, especially regarding conference. So again, still ways to go to see how this at least shapes up, and again, what seeding both of these teams will be. Again, like I said, it's just for the women, especially for them over the past couple. Again, what we're used to out of this team. Again, it's highly surprising to see right now. Here we are, mid-September. We're 3-5 right now in the overall, and again, did not win a single non-conference game. That again, only victories have come in the region, and again, you also too added one loss on the road against a Western Wyoming team that again on the women's soccer side is had their struggles in years past.
And I understand.
I think that's just it's more of that gut punch right now of where again we expect excellence, we expect the victories to be out there for again the women's side. They're not there though of the amount that again.
I know, but your
again,
expectations
how many
are
times
so
last year?
high.
How many times last year did we again talk about this team being in the top 25 of polls, both men and women?
Once in a while there's a slip up. But the thing is too, with both the men and women, it's not like they're getting blown out. I mean, it's not like they're
competitive games. Yeah.
LCCC lost to Northeastern here recently. 2-0. Okay,
Yeah.
It's not like they're getting clobbered 7-9. And these are fixable things that are happening at LCCC right now on the men's side as well as the women's side. I'm not really concerned. I'm concerned more about Region 9 play and where you're going to get seated. We know that Casper and to Casper's credit, since they've come into play, they want everything. They want to win everything.
Yeah,
and right now. LCCC's had that little bit of coaching shifting around, and again that affects
the instability is definitely again it's something that is got to get figured out at LCCC. And again, so far you have it with both the men and women's basketball programs. Again, obviously Seth, head coach at Rodeo. Again, now at least you do have an official head coach for the volleyball program. But outside of that, again, right now we have interim tags on both men and women's soccer. We just got a new esports head coach over there at LCCC. Again, you're having a lot of that instability there. Again, these interim tags that again got
in these
away.
two programs right now, and esports.
But again, it's been since our time of covering LCCC, we have not had a non-interim tagged team. Or at least it was early on under Scott Noble, where again we had coaches in place that were officially as a head coach, not these interim tags. Again, this instability probably plays a little bit of the factor into it. But
at least on basketball, Coach Mack's going to be back for her second season. She's the head coach. Dwayne Salisbury back for his third season.
But I'm just saying
his second season as the head coach.
You're seeing the interim tag right now playing a little bit of effect here, both the men and women's side. And again, it's not alarming, but
it's an uneasy feeling.
It's uneasy, and it's a little shocking to see that again both teams as of right now, again midway part, are sub 500 overall, but again are finding their success in Region 9 play. On the men's side, very quickly, they stand at 2-5. Again, their losses in the non-conference, again on the road at Snow College, at Utah State Eastern, losing at Phoenix College, losing as well too at Arizona Western College. So again, 4 non-conference games on the road, again losing against some talented teams. Again, the only one that was not close was at least that on the road against Arizona Western. Found victory on the road against Central Wyoming, very handily, at least victory against Lamar, and then a recent loss at home against Northeastern. But the men's side, that's a team that right now I have worry. Same with the women's side on the soccer side, where for the women it's pretty much Region 9 championship or bust. Again, at least that's the only way they're going to make it to the national tournament. Same with the guys of, hey, you got to get that. Again, your namesake is not going to get you to an at-large bid or anything like that. You got to get it done. Again, as I said with the women's side, I'll say pretty much I'm going to mirror for both for both ends here on the soccer, at least soccer teams at LCCC, that are the men or the women the best teams right now in Region 9? I don't think so. I don't think so, and they're going to have a lot to prove to me, including that postseason tournament, to see if they will. Would it shock me if there are non-LCCC teams in that Region 9 championship game this season? No. Right now it's just, again, with the turmoil and just, I wouldn't even say turmoil, but again, it's just, again, slight turmoil on the women's side, but again, the changing of the guard on the men's side, maybe that played in a factor, but it's just, right now, what I'm reading into stat-wise and it's just the recaps of these games, right now it's going to be a tough road ahead for both squads to win region championships.
I think the women will be fine heading into the region. I think they will be battling for the championship. The men, they got a little work in front of them right now, but I can't judge that, but I think I think the women will be fine. And again,
it's just it's interesting in years past where for both sides, for both men and women, for LCCC, again, you would have that genuine question of, are these national title contenders? You would stop and pause and think about it, and where you give it a thought that they could.
Yeah,
this season
spoiled.
though.
No, you are spoiled.
But again, I think if LCCC and the athletic, at least this athletic department, if they want to move into, again, as we're upgrading facilities, as we want to be that beacon of athletics here in Region 9 in the city of Cheyenne, again, the largest, at least, city in this region to offer, again, JUCO athletics. If we want to be that shining diamond here in this region, it starts in every aspect where, again, look to a Snow College, look to a CSI, look to, again, an Eastern State, Florida, look to a Tyler, Texas, where, again, they have those programs that have those high expectations year in and year out because, again, they get it done.
You're hitting an anomaly season. It's one of a situation that, hey, it all got thrown out of whack.
But I think with the LCCC, though, that it's something that, can you afford an anomaly season where, especially as now we move forward to where, guess what? Gillette College is coming back soon. Gillette College is going to be heavily recruiting. They're going to go off of their prestige and power and saying, hey, look, we've won in the past. We have the head coaches. We have the facilities to get it done.
You just said it right there.
I'm just saying, again, can you afford an anomaly year regarding recruiting for LCCC where, again, you're starting to see Casper evolve on the sport athletic side? Again, we know they're talented on basketball, but again, now soccer's up there. You're going to have Gillette College come back in. You're going to have some of these other teams that are again stepping up in this region that are going to garner some of those would-be recruits that go and look, again, you had the anomaly year. I think my career is best off here.
You said it without even recognizing it.
What?
You said, make them head coaches. Take the damn interim tags off. Either you are the head coach or you're not. So let's, whoever's running what program, are they the head coach?
And I'm surprised.
That way they got some stability.
And I'm surprised that again, as we knew Vince was, again, accepting his new role at LCCC, and again, more power to him, and again, congrats on at least making that step up into the AD role, or at least assistant AD over there at LCCC. But again, you had that time to, again, make that search or, again, give that definitive tag, which, again, I think in Coach Perez, at least sake, I think he deserved it. I think he deserved it, at least not have that interim tag, but, again, say, hey, you've proven enough. Here's that head coach stamp, or, again, at least put him a part of this broad body to get that done. Again, there was many a month that we knew that, again, we were looking for a head coach vacancy over to LCCC. In the women's soccer side, again, that was an unprecedented thing. Again, it was an abrupt leave by Nate. And, again, obviously it was desperate action of, hey, Jim, help us out in this moment. So, again, obviously in Jim's sake, you can't give him that head coach tag because, again, you had a head coach and just left on
and Jim's kind of half retired. And then you look at the volleyball side, they had an interim head coach, and then they replaced the interim with the head coach.
Yeah.
So, again, stop with the interim tags, hire somebody, and give them the authority and the
I agree with that. Again, what is that doing towards recruiting as well, too, where, again, especially on the volleyball side, where, again, we go from Kerry Coates' philosophy and recruiting style to, again, an interim coach to now a new head coach where, again, you have that year, you have those kind of 3-year block of, here's Kerry Coates recruits, here's the interims at least recruits, and now with the new head coaches recruits. So,
yeah, and again, like I said, I'm hoping that stability will start reigning supreme there. But again, like I said, this is kind of the anomaly year for LCCC. Things are just not falling into place. The only thing that is falling into place, believe it or not, is volleyball.
Yeah.
I mean, they're above 500 this year.
Well, again, volleyball's at least run into, again, some tough seasons over the past couple of years. So, again, there was kind of nowhere but up for LCCC on the volleyball side. So, again, at least, again, showing that improvement there. We'll see if they can get back to kind of the prestige that we had a few seasons ago with, again, Austin Albers, again, where he was bringing Region 9 champions and again, making it to the national tournament. Like I said, regarding the soccer program, so, again, this anomaly year that you would talk about, I just worry of where we have high expectations for these teams, and again, we expect greatness out of them, and we're still hoping for that national championship. Again, those banners to hang for both men and women's soccer, which again, I think at a point in time there will be a national title for either of those programs,
but not this season.
But not this season. But I worry that in an anomaly year, can this institution afford it, especially with all the intangibles that are coming up in 2023 of a new program entering the league or returning to the league. You're seeing other programs right now. Again, look at the rest of Region 9 that are improving as well, too. Again, we see it in basketball. We're seeing it in soccer where, again, look at Western Wyoming, the Lady Mustangs. They got a victory against LCCC. I mean, it's almost unprecedented for something like that. You're starting to see that this region is elevating itself and the talent to get to a point in time. So, again, can LCCC, especially on the recruiting side, afford an anomaly year where those would-be recruits now look to somewhere else?
Sorry. Yes, I think they can afford a year of slippage.
We'll see.
All right. Do we have room for another break here? Because I need to take a break.
We could just end it because, again, I'm sick because of you, too.
I think you were the one who gave it to me.
You were sick before I was.
No, I wasn't. All right. Well, we're going to wrap things up here. Real quick, I do want to mention that the 49ers have lost Trey Lance for the rest of the year with a broken ankle. And then last night, during the Monday night game, good news, Bills cornerback Dean Jackson has been released from the hospital after, what a hit on his head, neck area last night, trying to assist in tackling receiver Traylon Burks in the last minute of the second quarter of the Bills' win over the Tennessee Titans. That was an ugly hit, but the good news is, boom, no surgery. Neck spine area turned out on the CAT scan perfect last night, so that's good.
Yeah, we'll see, again, 49ers coming up again on the road against Denver Broncos coming up this Sunday night. So, again, we will see, again, what the 49ers are made out of. Again,
Jimmy
G returning back. Again, got it done against Seattle. To see if he can get it done, which he should against the Denver Broncos. Again, Broncos, they do not look good. Even though, again, winning against a Texas team, which, again, I saw the Texans. Texans are terrible. 49ers should have no business losing that contest against the Denver Broncos.
Well, again, Nathan Hackett is not Paul Hackett, okay? And, again, he's a rookie head coach. He's going to make rookie mistakes. They are going to lean heavily on Russell Wilson.
Right now for Hackett, it's a question, and I kind of kidded around with a friend while I was at the Rockies game last night, but it's up enough. How much time do you give Hackett before he's going to get fired? Because I think he's going to have a short leash where, again, obviously the Broncos are committed, again, now with the new ownership as well. Hey, they want to make a return on their investment, the Waltons, and they want a winning program. And right now that franchise is far from it. Again, for Hackett's sake, you wonder if he's already on the hot seat.
Well, the scary part is he's an offensive mind like his pop. And unfortunately, the offense has been pretty much on a milk carton. But they had enough to beat the Texans. Woohoo! I'm not going to say that the Texans are the greatest things to sliced bread.
They're far from it. They're terrible.
We'll see. We'll see against the 49ers. The 49ers are not a great team, okay? If you give me a top 10 right now, they might crack the top 10, the 49ers. but they're not a great team.
I think you're wrong on that one, and I think they're going to show it throughout the season, especially now. Again, you have the familiarity of Jimmy G. Again, he knows how to lead that team, knows that offense very well. So, again, if you're going to have a QB injury, again, 49ers found themselves in a phenomenal situation where, again, your backup is the guy that led you to the NFC Championship
he's a
game.
brittle backup, and, next injury, and the 49ers are going to be nobody. So they're going to be irrelevant. The point is, if they punish the Broncos, which I don't think they're going to do it in Power Field, but if the Broncos can't, especially with Russell Wilson, he's had great success against the Niners. If they can't if they can't put up 20 points against the 49ers on Sunday night, then I would say Hackett's going to be a little bit on the hot seat.
I don't think Hackett gets fired at a point in time during the season or
No.
at the end. But again, yeah, I think he's already on the hot seat. It's just, again,
His offense is not great.
every loss adds to his tenure there at Denver, where again he gets that much closer to probably being fired, part of that Broncos franchise. But we shall see. Again, that's Sunday Night Football again coming up. Looking forward to that game, absolutely. I want to wrap up very quickly as well too. Last night I was in attendance for Giants and Rockies. Did not see the at least extra innings walk off, at least the victory for the Giants, getting it done. Giants who coming off of a big time skid, especially taking on that Dodgers squad. What can you say? The Rockies, go figure. No surprise that they blew it.
Monfort, sell it, and let's get somebody in there that actually gives a damn, that will spend some money on the Rockies. Giants, you got to fire Kapler, but if you're going to keep them around, you're going to be just a mediocre team.
Again, Rockies, again, the issue with the Rockies is it's not spending money, which, again, they've done. And, again, we saw that with the bullpen. We saw that, again, signing with Chris Bryant. Again, they're willing to shell out some monies. It's more so of where is this money going to? And again, the most expensive bullpen in MLB history was with the Rockies.
Yeah,
but again, you found nothing but just garbage.
Your farm is not all that great. Everybody's trying to pattern their farm after the Dodgers. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Your farm is not the Dodgers. Not even close. Okay? You're going to have to get the right veteran talent in there. You don't have to necessarily buy the top dog like Chris Bryant. You can find that medium tier type of free agent that could fill the void. Or, and again, we know pitchers don't want to come to Coors Field, but the point is the Monforts they've given up on the Rockies. Again,
clearly,
if you didn't know any better, you thought the Rockies were the Oakland A's of the National League right now. They don't care.
I'd probably give that nod more to the Miami Marlins. Marlins are a little bit worse shape than the Rockies, even though, again, looking at the attendance last night, again, there wasn't
enough people there to start a good fight last night. It was
10
ugly.
10 grand probably, if at all. There,
it was terrible.
It was, again, you could tell that fans have checked out.
Yeah, it was the same with the Giants. Again, Crawford, you had some great years with the Giants. Probably time for him to move on. Belt's like Jimmy G. I haven't seen the guy play.
Belt's already gone. Well, he's not gone.
I know, but he hasn't played a full season in how many years? All right.
Yeah.
Longoria is 37. The Giants are the oldest team, and yet they're not the best. They're worse than mediocre.
It was the oldest team, and they've tossed out their younger talent again. Look at last night's game, where again Longoria was not out there, Belt wasn't out there again. Again, Crawford's probably one of your oldest players. Outside of that, again, Lamonte Wade Jr. Again, you're seeing the farm system already out there. Again, you're seeing those younger players already out there for the Giants. So again, they're looking towards the future. And again, that's why Gabe Kapler's run into a little controversy with the Giants of, you've given up on what we paid money for. Instead, you've just moved straight to the farm, and again, it has not paid dividends.
And I don't expect him back next season. I think he'll get the adios. I'd be surprised if he's back. All right, we are going to wrap things up. We're definitely going to get out of here, go home, and try to sweat this sucker out that we got inside we got a code in our nose, and I don't know where it came from, how we got it. But we're going to get rid of it here. Friday football, live from Burns. It'll be the Bronx, Upton, Sundance, Patriots. I do believe it's a 7 o'clock kickoff in Burns. We haven't heard anything different, right?
Not that I can. I'll have to look it up. But again, either way, though, we'll at least have it on our social media sites, whether it's 1480 K-Ray's Facebook page, the ProShow's Facebook page. Also, too, we will update posts as well, too, on our YouTube channel, 1480 K-Ray's YouTube channel. Also, too, over on my Twitter account, at ProMan56NP, PROMAN 56NP. Go give us a subscribe, go give us a like, go give us a follow, all that good stuff on our various social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Again, that's where you'll know definitively our pregame show start time and also to again game kickoff, which again anticipating should be 7 o'clock again. I do believe it will be homecoming that week, or at least this Friday night for Burns. So again, don't think that'll alter the start time, but again, should anticipate a 7 o'clock kickoff.
All right, so that's going to wrap up the Pro Show for this afternoon. For Nick Proietti, I'm Larry Proietti. We now return to regular programming on 1480 KRA.
This is